Massimo, it's a great pleasure to have the opportunity to interview you at the World Aviation Festival in Lisbon.
Yes, hi Dilek. Thank you for having me here. I'll be very happy to talk to
Thank,
you about digital transformation.
thank you. Massimo, can you briefly introduce yourself to our members at Global Loyalty Organization?
Okay, so hi everybody. My name is Massimo Morin. I'm the global head of travel. I lead the travel sector at AWS. AWS is the largest technology provider out there, cloud services. We have more than 17 years of experience in cloud, and a few years back we identified we have a variety of customers that are in travel that didn't want to talk only about technology, but actually how to apply the technology to solve your problem. And therefore I joined the team and I'm bringing industry expertise. I have I have a variety of experts in the industry for airline, airport, ground transportation, travel sellers and services, as well in hospitality for accommodation lodging, cruise lines, casinos, as well as restaurant, catering and food services.
Amazing. And if we look at the big picture, and with your own experience, but also with AWS, not just focusing on the transport and airline sector, but across many sectors, what would you say were the most important and significant technological developments this year, or past 18 months, really past COVID, but also what technologies do you see developing or further growing in the next 12 to 18 months?
So we have seen digital transformation happening pretty much for the past 10, 15 years. Everybody was talking about digital, but it wasn't actually really taking off or accelerating. We have seen that occurring a lot during the pandemic, especially because people wanted contactless, they wanted to use their mobile app and so forth for doing everything. And now, basically the pandemic has been accelerating this digital transformation by a lot. I mean, they're saying they're the the pandemic was the best digital transformation officer for any organization. What we have seen before the pandemic, technology has always been front and central. Through a Skift report, we commissioned to the Skift organization to interview more than 1,000 travel professionals. We have seen that technology was mostly focused in customer communication, advertising, marketing, those kind of things. So sharing the value of the brand, the value of the product that they were selling. But after the pandemic, we have seen an increase of answers around customer service. So how to take care of business, how to take care of the customer, how to assist them not only when they are selling the product, but also when they are actually servicing the customer. So when you are traveling, when you're flying, when you're getting disrupted, when you're reaching destination and so forth. And we see this trend continuing for a variety of reasons. The first thing is that the industry, we are ramping up capacity and there is pent-up demand. So load factor are very high. Ryanair is posting 95%, industry-wide is 85%. So if there is, you don't see that many new airports popping up. You have all the air traffic control restrictions that are there. So if there is a misconnection or a cancellation, how do you accommodate the passengers? How do you make sure that they reach their destination? So there is an acceleration on that. And clearly, the adoption of technology for those specific use cases are really important. ML/AI specifically, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and now the past 12 months, we have been talking about generative AI, Gen AI, how that can be used to ramp up the customer care, how to assist better the employee to support the customer. And we will see an acceleration on that in the months to come.
Yes, generative AI has been, really talked about in the past 8 to 12 months. So when you saying generative AI and about the customer-centric approach and really having a seamless customer experience from the moment they go on the website or app to book to when they arrive at their destination. So what are you doing at AWS? How are you helping your customers to achieve their goals?
So AWS and Amazon specifically has been using machine learning, artificial intelligence since the beginning. If you think about your Alexa device, or if you go to Amazon.com to actually search for a product, the personalization, the things that get recommended, is all using ML/AI. So we have a long experience on that. What we are doing is that we are extracting services from Amazon and making it accessible to our customer. Video recognition, speech to text, extraction of text from paper and so forth. So what is happening is we are applying that for customer care. So you see a ramp up and adoption of contact center modernization and chatbots. What is going to happen is you pick up the phone, the system recognizes from your phone numbers that you have a reservation, so now they can prioritize you to the right agent if you have a reservation for a flight that is tomorrow morning, or call you back if you have a reservation further in the future, or actually use a recorded message or use a chatbot to actually provide information and offload that is high volume, low value type of transaction, and reserve the contact center agent that are actually very expensive resource for actually top tier or more complicated tasks. How is generative AI going to help? Well, first of all, think about it. You want to create a more sophisticated single view of the customer. You want to serve them better. Generative AI can actually go through the recording of your call and make a summarization of the calls, or actually can answer question more in a natural language, or actually can identify training opportunity for the contact center, because you see what are the patterns that are occurring, why are customers so unhappy, what are the things that are happening all the time. So that is how generative AI is occurring. But also on the customer care, remember that even on the operation side, keeping the plane flying, not being delayed and so forth, they all have implication on the customer care. So helping mechanics, planners, gate agent to ramp up faster, to make more sound decision, to execute faster. That is what is happening, and where we are seeing a lot of traction. We are working with customers like Ryanair that use generative AI, for example, for helping their flight attendant to ramp up to speed faster, or to write their report of what happened during the day, or answer very simple questions like, I don't feel right, what should I do today, or how sooner should I get to the airport, and things like that. That otherwise you have to go to a lot of paperwork to go through. Does that help?
Yes, thank you. And I mean, you already mentioned, everybody knows AWS is part of Amazon, and Amazon is the most customer-centric company out there. It was always the philosophy from day one, customer first.
Right.
And I love it that, for example, at Amazon, I have one login for everything.
Sure.
I can shop with my login, I can read my Kindle, I can watch a movie, I can listen to audiobooks. And I believe you also have a project called One Customer, right?
Yes.
Can you tell our members a little bit about that?
So we heard a lot about the single view of the customers, and we have seen a lot of projects, a lot of travel suppliers, but also, for example, hotels, of trying to consolidate customer data. And we have seen this process and this project actually failing miserably because scope creep or cost or length. And at the end of the day, you have this organization that their objective is actually flying plane and making the customer happy. The developing of a core solution like a single view of the customers has always been fairly challenging. So we took that upon ourselves and we look at what are the heavy lifting that we can help them achieve. The challenge that we're facing is also the legacy of the technology that are there. The PSS system, the loyalty systems, the CRM system, extracting the data, collecting, merging, deduplicating, and making it accessible to the downstream systems. They were relying a lot on CDP system, customer data platform, but those are actually more oriented toward marketing and collecting also third-party data like social media information and so forth. So what we did is we are developing a solution. It is actually, you can go to our website, you can actually download it. It's called Unified Profile for Travel and Hospitality on AWS. What we do in a click of a mouse, we connect with the backend system. Again, the passenger service system or the property management system, PSS and PMS, the loyalty management system and the CRM, and we actually merge and duplicate, and we make it accessible to downstream system for messaging, for contact center and customer care, for operation and so forth. So in the loyalty space, you see that happening every day, that if you don't log in with your password and your frequent flyer miles numbers, they don't recognize you. But you can actually recognize the person. The phone number is the same. The email might be the same. So if you're able to capture that and merge that, you can avoid, for example, duplication of accounts. Somebody that creates multiple accounts is the same customers. Or you can identify customers that are recurring members, recurring actually flyers, recurring user of your system, but they are not yet loyalty members. So you can actually target them better with promotion and so forth, and give incentives to become loyalty members. These are the things that we are doing today. It is available on our website. We are already testing with a couple of large organizations. We are ingesting hundreds of millions of profiles in the safe and security of your own AWS environment. So it's still data that stays and sits with you. We don't look at it, we don't touch it, we simply make it more accessible.
And your customers in particular are large airlines.
Yes.
And the airlines, they are now opening up. They're talking about partnerships, ecosystems, the daily earn and burn, and they want to give their loyalty members the ability, to go and, I don't know, if you're, for example, at the airport, you can go to Starbucks and pay with your loyalty points. Yeah. And same, you can go shopping in a shopping mall, etc. How challenging do you find it to work with different systems? Because most airlines, as you said as well, they have old legacy systems and they are working on updating it, and some people say that they are already updated, but still you have to work with a lot of different systems and plug in. So how do you deal with that challenge at AWS?
So we have customers that indeed are looking at that. The example that you were presenting is actually from Air Canada. They had a couple of projects that they were working on. The first one was the reacquisition of Aeroplan. So actually have more data about the customer, have the point bank and so forth, so to actually have that data available. The second thing is they were refactoring their mobile app and their website. So what happened is that they decided from the get-go to put a thin layer on top of the PSS systems and expose some APIs and build the mobile app and the website on top of these APIs. The interesting thing is that they then expose this API to third party. They expose it to Starbucks, they expose it at Uber. So with those API, you are now able to purchase a coffee or a ride with miles and or money through the mobile app of Air Canada. And now you are at the airport, you maybe are distracted, or maybe you are waiting for your flight, you know exactly where the location is. Now you can say, hey, you spend 100 miles, you can actually buy a coffee at Starbucks that is around the corner. Now you see the servicing, the retailing, the customer care become much easier. But that was the project of a couple of very bright individuals that then started leading a large transformation inside the organization, inside Air Canada. Mark Nasser has been a visionary on this, and he spearheaded all this. Now Air Canada is a large customer of ours. They are expanding this to the contact center, the chatbot, and so forth, and moving into operation. It's phenomenal what they've been doing. But this is what has been happening. Now, what does it take to get there? These are all nice stories. My thing is, where do we start? The idea here is that the legacy of the systems that are there usually tend to lean into people mentality. So you have a legacy mentality, so you have also these data silos, but also these organizational silos, and these risk-averse kind of decision-making processes. Now, with the advent of the cloud and the use of AWS, off-the-shelf services that you can scale it up and scale it down the way you want. You can actually pay as you go global in second, you can innovate at scales. Now make it very easy to try things out. So now the concept of experimenting, try stuff, see what works and what doesn't, change the dynamic. We create organization, we help them with working backward workshop or explaining how we do things at Amazon. We create the two pizza team, so teams of 5, 8, 10 people, where you have the user of the application, the coder of the application, the designer, and they own it. And they run in sprint of 4, 6, 8 weeks and see what works. That makes them the ability to be agile, to experiment, to learn. And now they have an idea, they try it out. They go up in partnership with Uber, Starbucks, or whatever it is. But it is happening throughout all the companies that we work with, because what is really holding them back? There is the technology, there is the legacy of the technology, but there is also the mentality, the way of operating, and that is actually what makes the difference.
And sometimes I have a feeling that it's also the fear of new technology.
Fear of failing, yes.
And it's much easier to stay with the same technology because you've well known it for years, and nobody can blame you if it goes wrong.
The other thing is, so there are a couple of aspects. So you don't know what you don't know. And people are afraid of the unknown. The other thing is, if you break it, you own it. So if this was working, now it doesn't work. So, and the thing is that the code is so old, the legacy is so old, running on mainframe or COBOL code and so forth. You don't find any more coders, or let alone who design or who implement that thing. So there is also this fear, but you can actually really peel it out, build on top of it, and start taking it away piece by piece. But it really requires a vision of the executive. So for that reason, I really like to talk and to work with CEOs, with the CTOs, chief commercial, chief operating officer, that we show them what is the art of the possible, what they can do. And we simply try, we do a proof of concept that actually you execute very quickly and you see what works. So those are the kind of things that then start changing the mindset of people. But it has to come from the top down. I mean, if you do not, I like to say, I like to cook. So, and you can be a great chef. You can have all the tools that you want. You can have the best ingredient that you want, but you always have to have the salt that binds everything together. And I think the executive of this organization are the salt in your recipe. They make it really pop. So you have actually to create a vision, communicate the vision, reward people that take risk, that learn from what they do, and provide incentives to be part of their career plan and their career path. That is actually a winning strategy that actually help you on other challenges like retaining and attracting talent.
Yes.
So providing the right incentive, the right tools. If you get, I'm an engineer by training. So what the engineer want to do is to play with the latest toy. If you give them a mainframe and a COBOL compiler, it's kind of hard to motivate. But if you give them the opportunity to experiment and to try new things, that is what they love.
And are there actually any regional differences in the approach?
Sure. So there are different in approaches. There are different appetite for experimentation. The low-cost carrier are usually much more agile, and also because they have a flatter kind of organization. The CTO is usually sitting on the side of the engineers. There is not this ivory tower kind of technology or organization that you might find at a larger organization. So you have that distinction. You have companies that are more digitally savvy and digitally aware, like for example the Expedia, the Booking, the Priceline, that they do not have heavy asset that they have to move. The other things is there is the cultural, the risk averse, and that varies regionally. In Asia Pacific, the leader is dictating the marching order, or in America is a bit more entrepreneurial. It varies from organization to organization. But we try to overcome them and bring diversity. So if you have a diverse teams that have different roles, different, even having ladies in part of the group or a different perspective, it's actually what expands the horizon. So we're trying to overcome those, but yes, there are some regional differences, cultural differences, way of working different that actually impact the productivity of the people.